Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon? Anyone? Anyone? Grey Poupon? Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Lost Shadow. I have the new distress color here in the studio, and today I am going to make a very simple card project using that color for the first time. It's very neutral. I love the way it turns out, so I'll stop yakking. To see that card project, stick around. It's coming up next. Here's a look at the products I'll be using in today's video. I'm going to use my Hi There Greetings stamp set. This is an all-purpose basic greeting with mix and match font styles and type choices, and it's been a really popular set for me. I also am going to use this Lace Hearts Kaleidoscope. And the thing I'm most excited about is I now have Distress's new color, the Lost Shadow Distress ink. I have the Distress ink, I have the re-inker because I have an idea. I also have the other pieces too. I usually get them all. There they are. Can't even fit them all in one hand. And there's a pin too. But I love a neutral gray, and I'm very excited for this idea that I have. It's pretty simple. So let's start out with some stamping. Because I am using my cling, I'm going to take out my insert mouse pad. I have the insert mouse pads for all of my MISTIs. I just think it's a really nice thing to have. And I usually put a piece of tape on there too, just so they don't shift while I'm stamping. And let's get this out. All right, I'm going to take a little backer off here, and I'm just going to pop it right down there in the middle. Because what I like to do, I like to press my paper into my stamp. It's just kind of how I've always done it. And I've got a piece of Neenah Solar White Classic Crest. This is about, let me see here, about 6.5 inches wide by, well, it's about 7 inches tall. And I'm going to stamp the whole thing just because I'm going to trim this panel down. And sometimes I just like to have as much as I need to have to proceed with cropping using some of my favorite panel dies. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape there. And this is the Easy C tape. I love this tape. Generally speaking, 99% of the time never damages your cardstock at all. It's a wonderful tape. Pick this up. Just give a nice press there to really adhere my paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this with Distress ink. Now I know this is really simple, right? And actually, now I'm torn. Do I want to do this in an Oxide? Boy, you know what? I actually think I just changed my mind. I've got the Oxide. I think I'm going to do it in Oxide. Now I'm going to have to set that aside and let it dry, and that will be fine because I have a plan. I always have a plan. Well, not always. Okay, I can't back that up. What I'm going to do here is go ahead and ink this stamp up really well with the Oxide. Oh yeah, because I have a new thing I have to show you. I'm very excited about this. All right, I'm making it sound way more exciting than it is, but it'll make sense. All right, I'm gonna bring this down, and then I'll take my little Stampin' Bug and just press on the door. So I'm pressing the paper into the stamp. You can do it the other way too. I just have always kind of done it as soon as I figured out that this was kind of my jam. Works either way. I just like being able to do it this way. So let's take a look at the color. Ooh, I like it. It doesn't look like much yet. So let me get, oh, I didn't quite get it over here. Let me try this again. I want to get all the ink over here. There we go. My whole plan with this is to really have this light, oh yeah, I'm missing it here. Okay. To have this light design, I think I'm going to need to actually stand up. I got to put some pressure on it. Oh, put your shoulder into it, Cathy. There we go. All right, did that work? Closer than it was. All right. But the idea is just to have this beautiful, soft, gray tone on this really intricate, beautiful pattern, right? So that's what we're doing. And because nothing moved, we're inking it up again and coming down. I think I'm glad I went with this one. Okay. And transfer. You know, sometimes I think it would be a really good idea if my desk was a stand-to-sit desk. It's not, because there are things like this when you really want to put your weight into it, so to speak. And for me, it's definitely nice just to be able to stand up and press. Now that looks really good. I think I'll do it just one more time. Why not? Just kind of giving it a light tap here. And bringing it down. All right. That looks great. Now I want to show you what is so cool that I'm excited about. I just got this Hero Arts scrubber block, and it's very, very cool. I saw it in a Jennifer McGuire video, and I'm like, that is genius. I've used a brush, like a blender brush for this, but I'm very excited about this. So let me take this off, and I'm going to take the tape off and set it aside. Just let that, see how cool that is? Isn't that fun? Oh, I guess the hearts go that way. Isn't that pretty? So neutral. Love it. All right. And here I could just take my new tidy towel, just do a quick wipe, right? But if you really wanted to clean it, right, you can take your scrubber. I've never had the option to clean quite this well. Take some spray cleaner, right? Sprinkle it on and use the scrubber. That's so cool. I never ever get my clean stamps this clean. Well, I mean, I was using a brush, but this is designed on such a good size. Oh, I love it. And that way I know that this is actually really clean and ready to go. So very excited to have this little friend in my studio. All right, moving on. I'm going to put my mouse pad insert back inside, and I'm going to grab a piece of gray cardstock. So let me go grab that. I've got a piece of cardstock. This color is called Lunar Gray. This is a new cardstock for me from Spellbinders, and I've recently been testing out some of their cardstocks. Now the stamp that I want to use today actually does not have a coordinating die in this set, and that is Long Time No See. And the reason I chose not to create a die for this is I wanted to make the dies a little more affordable. So I didn't do one for this, and I'll show you why, because I have the perfect die to cut this out just by using a standard shape die that I have. And I'm going to go ahead, add my magnet, right, press that, and pick up the greeting. And I will powder this up pretty well, just because I have some oil that I put on my fingernails earlier. You know how it is. You got to keep those cuticle areas looking hydrated and refreshed. All right, I'm powdering up so that my cardstock has a nice amount of powder, the anti-static powder. And let's see here, I'm gonna prep this a little. This is the first time I'm using this stamp. This is a relatively new set, and just want to get that coating off from the manufacturer. I'm pressing this in. I'm going to use my Versamark pad, and we're going to ink this up. Bring the door down, and again, get my little Stampin' Bug and apply pressure. Like that. Oh, that looks really good. I don't think I need to stamp that again, although I will, because I like to show off with a MISTI. We'll just do a quick tap down. All right. Okay, good. I'm going to leave this closed for a second while I grab my embossing powder and my paper catch. So I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp Fine Detail White. And I don't think I need to stamp this a second time. I thought about it just to have a backup. You know, have a little goose to my Maverick, but you know, I'm going to roll the dice today. Grab my little emboss this, open this up, and go ahead and sprinkle on our powder. Okay, let that sit for a second, and tap off, and the excess powder should fall away because of the anti-static powder that I used. Okay, give that a little tap and blow on that. All right, I'm going to funnel this back in. Get that out. I'm down to my last Swiffer cloth, and you can see how dirty it is. I keep forgetting to get a pack of them when I'm at the grocery store, so, you know, forgive me for having such a crazy, yeah. All right, I'm going to heat up my heat tool in just a second, but let's zoom in here a bit. I think that did a good job, and I don't think I need to brush really much away at all. There's a little. And for that, I just use this little angled shader brush just to get any little flakes of white. And now I will heat up my tool and we can melt the powder. And now I have this nice crisp white greeting on the gray cardstock. So let me let that cool and then I will wipe off the excess anti-static powder. Okay, now that this is all cooled off, you can just buff away that extra powder because you can kind of see it on the paper, right? But you can really, I mean, if you see like with my fingers, this is a little old school trick. If it's showing up on your cardstock, just rub it with your fingers because there is always going to be some oils on our hands, and this will really get it nice and good to go. Now, I want to stamp one more thing before I die cut this. So let me grab my MISTI again to stamp one more piece. I've got a little piece of the Spellbinders Black Onyx or Onyx color. Oh, and what I'm going to do, so long time no see, I think I'm going to stamp How Have You Been? Okay. And this way, I'm just going to take this little tiny greeting, pop it right there, okay, and pick this up, that, do a little prime. This is very delicate, so I'm not going to have to press really hard. I'm only going to do a one and done. Hopefully it will work. And let's slide it around. Don't slide around, powder up. Okay, lots of anti-static powder and my Versamark pad. And again, this doesn't have to be pushed really hard. Sometimes I don't even bring in the Stampin' Bug, or if I do, I'm just gonna go very light because we don't want to squish, we just want to transfer. Oh, that looks good. And sprinkle that on. If you ever have issues with your embossing, because I've had people say, Cathy, no matter what I do, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look like yours. Now that I've been doing this long enough, I do know that the quality of the powder, you really want to have a fine detail. Many companies make them. I'm a little partial to this Simon powder because I use it all the time and I just feel like it's a really quality product. But what it does is, where's my brush? Is it just kind of keeps things, I'm going to take that off for a second. It holds the detail of what you're stamping, but, I'll zoom in here, but it doesn't puff up and distort anything, you know, and I think that's the beauty of a fine detail. Plus, for me, having a MISTI makes it possible for me to get an even stamped impression. I really wasn't a stamper before 2017, and I don't even know how I discovered the MISTI. It was probably YouTube. It was probably Jennifer McGuire. And as soon as I got one, I was like, are you kidding me? I can stamp too. And so it has changed. It has changed my approach to stamping. Let's heat this up and melt the powder. Also, you want to move your heat tool quickly. I kind of do circular motions. You don't want to just, you know, blast it in one spot because that does make a difference. there is such thing as overheating your embossing powder, and then all of a sudden it looks like it's sunk into the cardstock. I've done that too. Now take a look at this. Look how good this looks. Look at that. And that's pretty crisp, right? All right, now you can see the other bits of embossing powder, but that actually looks great. All right, I will also wipe this off with my little cloth now that it's cool. Kind of buff off that extra powder. E-cloths, great for everything. All right, now it's time to do some die cutting. The first thing I'm going to die cut is this little sentiment, all right? And I'm going to use, come here now, one of my Simon Says Stamp sentiment labels. I love, love, love these. Get that there, and I'm gonna tape that into place, and then just like that. Hold that down, and that, okay? So it's nice and easy to cut out this way. And then I will run this through my Gemini Junior. And this is the rotating design board from Totally Tiffany. It's probably the #1 thing I get asked about on my channel more than anything else. It's wonderful for a heavy machine like this, so you can just rotate it and it helps to be a space saver. Okay, now undo you. Yep, this tape is so great, it just doesn't tear. And now I have my little sub-greeting, how have you been? Next, I'm going to grab the greeting and another die to cut that out. First things first, I'm just going to cut this down a little bit, and I'll just put this in my little scrap bin. I'm going to figure out how to frame this. Now here's what I was thinking when I designed this set. I'm like, if you have any kind of shape set, now the A2 layers dies and the additional A2 layers dies are some of my most used dies. That's why I keep them and the sentiment labels on these magnet sheets. They're from Stamp and Storage. They're just very sturdy. It is a bit of a splurge. You can make stuff like this yourself if you're crafty. And sometimes I'm crafty, but sometimes I'm not. And so here is my vision. I am going to be trimming this here and then saddling the little sub-greeting underneath. And that is going to be my greeting area for my card. And I think that is really cool looking. So let's make sure we're centered. Okay. I almost wonder if I could go smaller. Let me grab the next one. The thing that is cool about additional layers is that this is, well, it is literally the next set down. Nope, not that one. This one, I don't know if it's a little bigger or a little smaller, and it is a little smaller. And guess what? I know it seems so subtle. That's the one I want. So when you have both of these sets, you will use them so much. They come detabbed, they're wonderful, and it gives you so many cropping options. And you know, like they say in Spinal Tap, sometimes it's a fine line between clever and stupid, and I really want this to be more like it's just a little closer in. See that? The space is a little more managed. And that one, I'm looking at the word C. That's what I want. Okay, I'm going to tape you down and tape this because I will trim this after I cut this out. So we'll run this through the machine. Also with my die cut machine, I will flip every other time, but I'm always cutting into the same cutting plate, if that makes sense. Let's go to the die cut cam and run this through. Now I just want to show you how unwarped my plates are. You can see a little bit there on the green plate. Now, I only tape mine on the ends, tape them together with packing tape. Every machine is a little bit different, and sometimes, you know, what might work for one person might not work for you. I had someone tell me they had tape on the sides and their plates got super warped. So honestly, it's a bit of a experiment when you're trying to figure out what is going to work best. Now, what is so great about this is we're going to trim a little off from side to side, and that is going to go onto my card. But I'm going to set these aside for right now because the last piece that I need to cut is the panel for my card itself out of my Lost Shadow stamped background. So this has been, oh gosh, I haven't done a neutral card in such a long time. And I want the hearts up, right? Because the hearts are all in the center. And I'm going to take what is probably my, is this my most used size? 3.5 by 4 3/4, I think would be a really nice crop. I want to double check, right? Ooh, yes. Gosh, it's going to be so cute. All right, so here, what I want to do is kind of figure out the pattern, like where am I going to hit on this? I like the idea of splitting that pattern, but I don't know how, oh, maybe like that. Maybe like that, side to side. We're trying to make it as equal as possible. This is another reason why I love to stamp what I feel like stamping and then worry about everything else after the fact, because you can crop, right? And cropping, I swear, it is the most powerful tool in design when you know that you have the ability to take the piece that you want, right? That's what I always do. Now, I think that looks pretty straight. I'm going to trim this down a little bit so it will fit through my machine. Of course, if you have, you know, the bigger machine, that's not a problem, but I do like to angle as I go through as well. So trim it down a little and go like this, pop it on, and again, run that through the die cut machine. And now I have my nicely trimmed panel, and I think I did a good job. I think that looks really nice. See that? Beautiful soft gray. All right, let's get a few things ready. I need some foam tape, and I'm going to need a note card. I'm going to make a white note card, which should not surprise anyone. This is 8.5 by 4 1/4, so this is half of a US letter size sheet, and we are going to make a top folding card that folds down to be 4 1/4 by 5.5. Let's give this a nice press. I'm going to put my little piece of grip mat down because I have cut pieces, and I like this because it holds my card into place when I'm trying to do elements, right? So it doesn't slide on this little slippy surface. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to add some layers. So I've got Altenew foam tape on the back of my Lost Shadow little Kaleidoscope lace panel, and I'm going to stand up here just to look over the top. Excuse my Lost Shadow hair if it gets in the way. Look at that. There is a coordination. I knew there was a reason I didn't color my hair today. All right, that is just so monochromatic and cool. Now, I'm gonna take this off. Same foam tape. I have 3 on here, which might seem a little excessive, but if you know, you know. I'm an over-adheser. I'm really okay with that. I'm so responsible in most areas of my life that I get to go a little gung-ho with my adhesion, but also it had a little warping. So I need to wipe this off. Sometimes my little nozzle will get goopy, and I'll just clean it off either with some Undo, which is a wonderful product. And here I'm just going to put some glue on it for a tiny bit of float time. so that when it sticks, I have a second. I have a hot minute to figure out if it's in the right place. So I'm going to bring in my T-square and I'm going to stand up here too. In fact, I might not even, I kind of just need to visualize without that in the way. And I'm splitting the pattern top to bottom. Oh, now my head's really in the way. Sorry about that. And we're going to go like that. I mean, it's not too hard to line up. You can see though, I was a little off. There we go. Like that. There we go. Oh, I love it. All right, the next thing is, I'm just going to trim, oh, wrong direction. I'm just going to trim out my little panel, this little friend, so that I can pop it up and it can be just a little bit outside of the design of this, not the full width. In fact, you know what, let's just move you. You know what's under there, okay? So I'll come in here with my baby trimmer. I'm gonna put the letter, the how have you been, just kind of right to the outer side of the groove here. Hold it down, cut. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side for a perfectly centered little sub greeting here, a little strip, right, like that, and cut. Love it. Now let's see, is that a good amount? I think that it is. Coming back in. I never thought I would love monochrome so much, but I actually think this is so cute. So now I'm going to pop that on here. Now check it out. I have some little foam strips from Waffle Flower. These are my new thin foam strips. They come in a nice sheet. I know that they were out of stock for a while, and I don't know. I hope they're in stock soon, but it's a nice replacement for those old Doris strips that are now no longer being made. So I think I just want to kind of figure out my depth here. Yeah, it's probably fine. Because I just want this to be a little popped up like that. Oh yeah, isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. Actually, that mat looks really good underneath it. Okay, now here, I'll do, again, just a few beads, nothing heroic. Just for a little float time. I don't think I need much though, because I feel like this is going to be so easy to place and it's going to go right in the center. Hi, how have you been? Pop you there. Oh, and I'm pretty sure that's straight. Yeah. Oh, it's so cute. How fun is that? All right, I have an idea for possibly adding some shine. This I think is good as it is. Like, and also, not that color and lack of color is a masculine thing, but this would be a great card to send to anyone, right? I don't find gray to be bleak and depressing. I find it to be classy and austere and warm and welcoming. But I did recently buy, and I don't know if this will work, but I just got some of these little frozen rhinestones. I just want to see what they look like. And I don't know, I might not like this right now. This might not be the right party dress for the right party. Do you know what I'm saying? It might, but it might not. So we're going to see. You know what? It adds color that I don't think I want that. I don't. I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? No. I love these and they're going to be beautiful in something else. But sometimes you got to know when to walk away, know when to run. You got to know when to hold the boops and know when to add them. And that, my friends, is the finished card project. You can find links to all the products I used in the YouTube description box. I hope this inspires you to check out Lost Shadow and how you can play and keep things neutral. I know I went really neutral with mine, but I love the finished result. To see a few more clean and simple card projects, check out the 2 thumbnails I have linked for you below, and I will see you in those videos.